More than 15 centuries ago, the political power of Western Rome collapsed. Its emperors vanished, its armies dissolved, its monuments were abandoned, stripped, or slowly buried beneath the streets of later cities. And yet, Rome is still around us. Its language survives inside Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian, and countless English words. Its legal ideas still influence courts. Its arches, domes, roads, and public buildings remain part of the modern world. Rome no longer rules an empire, but the world it created did not disappear with it. To understand why, we must look beyond the emperors and the battles and discover the system that allowed one city to outlive its own fall. Rome began beside the River Tiber, where hills offered protection and the water opened a route toward the Mediterranean. Roman tradition placed the city's founding in 753 BC, but archaeology reveals that people had lived in this landscape long before the legend of Romulus and Remus. The early city grew from a mixture of Latin, Sabine, and Etruscan influences. Kings eventually gave way to a republic, and the republic began extending its control across Italy. Rome conquered, but it also absorbed. It borrowed art and philosophy from the Greeks, engineering knowledge from the Etruscans, and soldiers, customs, and gods from the peoples it defeated. Its greatest strength was not cultural purity. It was the ability to turn outsiders into participants in an expanding Roman system. At its height, Roman power stretched from Britain to North Africa and from the Atlantic coast to the Middle East. But legions alone could not control such an enormous world. After conquest came construction. Roads moved soldiers, officials, taxes, messages, and trade. Bridges crossed rivers that had once formed natural barriers. Harbors connected distant provinces, while aqueducts carried water into cities far from natural springs. Across the empire, a familiar urban pattern appeared. There were forums for business and politics, temples for worship, baths for social life, theaters for entertainment, and public buildings that displayed the authority of Rome. The empire had learned to repeat itself. Its true achievement was not simply taking territory. It was transforming distant lands into parts of a connected political and economic world. The army opened the door. Roman engineering, administration, and urban life kept it open. For the people living inside it, Rome offered order, but never equality. The wealthy lived in spacious houses decorated with painted walls, mosaics, gardens, and fountains. Many ordinary city residents crowded into multi-story apartment buildings where fire, collapse, noise, and disease were constant dangers. The streets were filled with merchants, laborers, animals, carts, soldiers, foreigners, and enslaved people. Public baths were more than places to wash. They were social centers where people exercised, talked, conducted business, and displayed their status. Markets carried grain, wine, oil, pottery, spices, and luxury goods across the Mediterranean. Citizenship gradually became one of Rome's most powerful tools. It offered legal privileges and a sense of belonging to a state larger than any single city or tribe. But Roman prosperity also depended on conquest, taxation, and slavery. Millions lived without political freedom so that others could enjoy the benefits of the imperial system. Rome united different peoples, but it did not make them equal. That contradiction would remain at the heart of the empire. Rome did not fall in a single night. Its collapse in the West was a long process shaped by civil wars, unstable leadership, economic pressure, disease, military rebellion, and growing threats along distant frontiers. Emperors rose and disappeared with increasing speed. Armies sometimes served their commanders before they served the state. Taxes became harder to collect, cities struggled to maintain old infrastructure, and the empire was repeatedly divided between competing rulers. Outside groups did not simply destroy a healthy world. Many had already entered Roman territory as soldiers, settlers, allies, and refugees. The Western government controlled less land, commanded fewer resources, and depended increasingly on powerful military leaders. In 476, the young Emperor Romulus Augustulus was removed from power. Later historians would use that moment to mark the fall of the Western Roman Empire. But there was no single explosion, only a system that could no longer hold itself together. And in the East, Rome was still alive. From Constantinople, the Eastern Roman Empire continued for almost another 1,000 years. Its people called themselves Romans. Its emperors defended Roman authority, adapted Roman institutions, and ruled from a capital filled with imperial palaces, churches, markets, and monuments. During the reign of Justinian, scholars gathered and organized centuries of Roman law. Their work would later influence legal traditions far beyond the borders of the empire. The Eastern Empire finally ended when Constantinople fell to the Ottomans in 1453. In Western Europe, Rome survived differently. Latin remained the language of the church, scholarship, and government. Popes transformed the old imperial capital into a new center of religious power. Temples, halls, columns, and stones from ancient buildings were reused in churches and medieval monuments. Kings and emperors borrowed Roman titles, Roman symbols, and the idea that their authority continued an ancient tradition. The Roman state had fragmented. The Roman name had not. Rome's most enduring monuments may not be the ones standing in ruins. The everyday Latin spoken across Roman provinces slowly developed into the Romance languages. Roman legal ideas became part of later European civil law traditions. Architects repeatedly returned to the arch, the dome, the column, and the monumental public space. During the Renaissance, scholars, artists, and builders studied the remains of Rome and gave ancient forms new life. Government buildings, museums, universities, railway stations, and courthouses across the world still borrow the visual language of Roman authority. Even the idea of connecting distant communities through roads, standardized administration, public infrastructure, and a shared legal identity carries a recognizable Roman echo. The modern world is not a continuation of the Roman Empire, but it was built partly from materials Rome left behind. Physical materials, intellectual materials, and ideas powerful enough to survive without Roman armies to defend them. The empire disappeared from maps. Its influence entered the foundations of other civilizations. Today, Rome is a city where different ages occupy the same ground. Modern traffic passes ancient walls. Christian churches rise above former temples. New streets follow routes traveled by people thousands of years ago. The empire did fall, and its history includes conquest, exploitation, slavery, and violence. But its end did not erase everything it created. Rome no longer commands provinces or sends legions across continents. It survives in languages, laws, buildings, roads, and in the enduring idea that one city can shape a world long after its power's gone. Rome did not escape history, it became part of ours.